Deep within the rolling fields of a rescue ranch, an aging Mustang named Spirit stood unmoving, his once fiery eyes now dull and distant. For years he had been a symbol of strength, a wild heart untamed, but now he barely acknowledged the world around him. He refused food, ignored the gentle calls of his caretakers, and seemed to fade with each passing day. The ranch staff did everything they could, offering fresh hay, his favorite sweet feed, even softly murmured reassurances, but nothing reached him. Days turned into weeks, and Spirit grew weaker, his ribs pressing against his dull chestnut coat. Then, one quiet morning, as the golden sunrise bathed the ranch in warmth, something unexpected happened. A voice, familiar yet long absent, called his name. The air seemed to shift as Spirit's ears twitched ever so slightly. The caregivers held their breath. Was it possible that this one voice could reach him when nothing else had? What followed was a moment no one would ever forget, a moment that would remind them all that even the most broken spirits could find their way back to life. The sound echoed in the silence of Anne's tiny office as she stared at the faded number in Spirit's file. A lump formed in her throat as memories flooded back, memories of a young, untamed Mustang galloping freely, full of fire and life. With a deep breath, she reached for the phone, her fingers trembling as she dialed a number she hadn't called in years. The line rang once, twice, then a familiar voice answered. Anne's heart pounded. "You need to come," she whispered. "It's Spirit. I think he's waiting for you." The call set everything into motion. Within hours, a truck rumbled down the dusty road toward the rescue ranch, carrying the one person who might save Spirit, his former owner, Jake. As Jake stepped out, his weathered hands clenched with emotion, he whistled softly, the same whistle that once signaled trust between them. Spirit's ears twitched, his dull eyes flickering with recognition. Slowly, he took a shaky step forward, then another, until he pressed his muzzle into Jake's chest. Tears welled in Jake's eyes as he whispered, "I'm here, old friend." That moment, as Spirit leaned into the touch of the man who had once set him free, hope returned, and with it, the will to live. The next morning, the ranch was bathed in the soft glow of dawn, golden light stretching across the paddocks. Anne stood by the fence, holding a warm cup of coffee, watching anxiously. Then she saw it, Spirit, standing tall beside Jake, his head held higher than it had been in weeks. His once lifeless eyes now carried a glimmer of something lost but not forgotten. As Jake gently stroked his neck, Spirit let out a deep breath, then lowered his muzzle to the fresh hay in front of him. The quiet sound of him eating was the sweetest melody Anne had heard in a long time. Hope had returned with the sunrise. As the days passed, Spirit grew stronger, one small step at a time. At first, he only nibbled at his food when Jake was near, as if afraid Hope might slip away again. But with each visit, with every familiar whistle and gentle touch, the old Mustang's spirit began to stir. One crisp morning, as Jake stood by the paddock, Spirit did something no one expected. He took a step toward the open gate. His muscles, once weak and weary, carried him forward with purpose. Then, with a determined flick of his tail, he took another step and another until he stood beside Jake, pressing his muzzle into the man's hand. It was more than just movement. It was a choice, a step back toward life. With each passing day, Spirit's strength returned, but something had changed. His purpose was no longer just survival. The once broken Mustang, who had nearly given up, now became a beacon of hope for others. As visitors arrived at the rescue ranch, they were drawn to his story, a tale of resilience, love, and second chances. Children ran their hands over his coat, their eyes wide with wonder, while weary souls found comfort in his gentle presence. Jake, too, found new meaning, staying on at the ranch to help other horses heal. Spirit had taken more than just steps. He had found a new purpose, to inspire, to heal, and to remind the world that even the most broken can rise again. As the years passed, Spirit's story became legend at the rescue ranch. He had once stood at the edge of despair, but with love and trust he had found his way back. His presence brought hope to every wounded horse that arrived, as if they sensed the wisdom in his gentle gaze. Even after he was gone, his legacy remained. His story was told to every visitor, his name whispered as a symbol of resilience. A small plaque was placed near his favorite tree, reading, "Spirit, the Mustang who chose to live." And in every rescued horse that took its first hopeful step toward healing, Spirit's legacy lived on.